And the less one knows, the more one judges. The more one knows, the less can one pronounce judgments on things. It's in the little things and events that we are given great opportunities every day to grow with impunity. If you take something from the world, you disrupt the system. Everything always has a price, but we don't always know what it will cost. Look into the mirror. What you see is nothing but a wonderful opportunity. You can draw strength from this wonderful potential, which will inevitably blossom one day. But the bud is already there. It is you. It is within you. And it will grow out of you. Go your way and become who you are meant to be. So don't be impatient. Have a heart full of ambition. Do the thing. Never disturb the workings of the world. Let me warmly welcome you to the City of Dawn YouTube channel. My name is Mubati Seeker. I am a medical doctor, healer, writer and teacher. I am the author of the best-selling Awake Giant, The Dawn of the Soul, which you can purchase on Amazon. This book can be your guide to inner development and self-discovery, helping you become who you truly are. I want to help you discover why you are here, what your unique and personalized mission is here on this planet called Earth, and how to set out with strong determination, courage, and resolve on the path that has been waiting for you so long. This path was made for you, and no one else can walk it for you. My channel and of course my book will help you with this. For me, today's video contains perhaps the most important message of the Mother's book. I want to stress it. This is just my point of view. And here we could discuss about the multiplicity of points of view, or as I would say, the infinity of points of view. I was very touched by this passage, and I think it contains great wisdom that if more of us would embrace it, we would find that the world around us would change. To quote my favorite phrase, and the less one knows, the more one judges. Let's think about our everyday lives. Let's ask ourselves, who is the judge around us? Well, everyone with us in the lead. When do I judge? All day, from morning until night. Maybe not while I sleep. But as soon as we wake up, let's observe, I had a bad dream, that's a judgment, wrong. I am anxious because I am having a bad day, judgment. Which dress should I wear? I look ugly in this, judgment. At breakfast, the buns are dry, this food is bad, verdict. I've only been up for 15 minutes and I can't count how many little things I've judged. You could say that it doesn't matter, they don't mean anything. I have to agree with you. They really are insignificant little things. Or are they? Isn't it in the little things and events that we are given excellent opportunities every day to grow with impunity? Daily routines come and go in the same way every day, so they provide an unparalleled training ground. If you fail because you find yourself sticking the label of good or bad on events and things around you, nothing happens. The opportunity will come again. Try taking a day to observe how many labels people who are less conscious put on things. Write a list of these labels, noting how many labels there are: good, bad, beautiful, ugly, and their many synonyms. Then once you have a few words, start practicing on yourself. Try to just pay attention to those and avoid using those words just for a day. Replace it with something else. Write around it as if you were telling a story and giving an unblazed description of something. For example, if you were to say, "I feel bad this morning," instead say what you feel. "I'm tired. I haven't slept much. I have a lot of work to do today. I feel a bit queasy." You have described the situation, but you have not judged it. How would you know it was wrong? Maybe your boss will see that you're not up to it, will take heart and say he will give one of your tasks to someone else because he sees you're struggling to do it today. So he'll lighten your load. Wow, what a good boss. Is there such a thing? Let's say yours is just like that. If you notice, I've been judging too. What's a good boss? Good for whom? For you today, I'm sure. It is good for the guy who got your job. For him, it's an extra burden. But what do we say instead of good? Let's say we could use the word fair. Your boss is a fair boss. It's not a label, it's a quality, a divine quality. And in this case, a fair boss might even give a bonus to another colleague who works more. Who will be harmed here? The company, because the boss is throwing money out the window, so to speak. What will this level of thoughtfulness from your boss do to you? That he noticed you were having a rough day. Not only did he notice, but he also decided to make it easier on you and give your colleague extra money for doing more work. Believe me, in the long run, this small investment will pay off for the company, because with a boss like this, if you don't abuse his goodwill, you will have a work ethic that will keep you in a good mood, working better, and having fewer anxious mornings. You will be dedicated to doing your best. That's exactly the transformation humanity is facing. This is not utopia. It's something else that has begun and will be fulfilled. Where does that leave us? To quote the rest of the sentence, "And the more one knows, the less one judges." Small things become big things. You start with the small, routine things you do every day, and you expand more and more. You realize that you can make objective judgments about the big decisions because in a decision-making situation, it's essential to be aware of the big picture. This can only be achieved by impartially describing what is happening around you. You might ask, should we also avoid putting positive labels on things? Why not say how beautiful the sunshine is? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the small things make big things. And if you look at it, who is it beautiful for? For me, say it is. The mole, for example, doesn't prefer it. He likes to be underground. So if we want to say how beautiful the sun is, we can add for me. But it improves us even more if we give a description of the small things. The sun gives me so much joy. I feel I get so much energy from it, and it really inspires me. I would further follow the thread of my thoughts to this sentence. Then you will contemplate the whole universe in such a complete and comprehensive way that, to tell you the truth, you will be unable to take anything away from it without knowing it will disturb the whole of its functioning. What a wonderful thought! Maybe we think that if nobody sees it and we do something to disturb the order of the world, it doesn't cause any consequence unless we know about it. We think, anyway, it's not that big of a deal, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a little bit dishonesty. It's a small fib that doesn't affect my partner's life too much anyway. Well, if that's the way you feel, I'd have to say, my friend, you're wrong. There is no such thing as you and no one else. There is someone who is always there with you and in you. He knows. If you've heard of the butterfly effect, you know that a single flap of a butterfly's wings on one side of the earth can cause a tornado on the other. There's no such thing as a merciful lie. You can't explain that to me. Lying about a little thing is a decision. And you have no idea what your innocent little fib will set in motion and what consequences you will have to face later because of it. Remember the words of the Divine Mother. If you take something from the world, you disrupt the system. The effect may come back to you later. An unpleasant thing happens to you, and you have no idea that the gracious lie you set in motion weeks earlier is on its way going around the world in a kind of energy blast from person to person. Then it finds its way back to you, its host, and an event happens to you. It's not necessarily drastic. Maybe it's a headache and you get a migraine all day. You don't know why you got it. You blame the weather. You blame your partner. You blame God. And you don't even think that it's because of a decision that has come back to you. You disrupted the system. You released energy, and poor energy just does its thing. It goes back and forth, and then it finds its way back to its master, to you. And finally, order is restored. Remember, there is always a price to pay for everything, but we don't always know it in advance. Most of the time, we don't know what we are paying for. The universe is in a perpetual movement of inner reorganization, and at the same time it is expanding. Well, yes, it is hard for the human mind to grasp that the universe is not constant. It is constantly changing. You can't say you know one thing perfectly well because it can change into something completely different in a second. With wisdom, if you can reach it, you can see the way a thing is now. You can describe it as it is now without judgment. If you gain some divine intuition, you can see what it would be like if it evolved further. But that hasn't happened yet. It simply has the potential to evolve. Optimally, it will develop what it needs to reach the most perfect version of itself. I reassure you that it is in you. It is in you too. I will tell you, sight unseen, that what you see in the mirror is nothing but amazing potential. See yourself for what you are now, where you are now. Feel how proud your old, less developed self would have been once it had foreseen what it would become. Now try to see yourself as being in what reflection you see at the peak of its evolution, a perfectly divine person in terms of development, someone who is already living in perfect harmony, peace, tranquility, someone who is one with God, no longer fearful, only certain, someone who is no longer a spark of falsehood, only uprightness, love, justice, and wisdom. Shall I tell you the secret? You will be that one day. That's a fact. You cannot avoid it. God draws everyone to Himself. In time, you will be too. If you look at yourself in the mirror every day, you can draw strength from this wonderful potential that will inevitably blossom. The bud is already there. It is you. It is in you. It will grow out of you. Don't be impatient. Have a heart full of ambition. Do the work. Never disrupt the way the world works. Go your way and become who you are meant to be. That is the most wonderful hope for us humans. Looking in the mirror is part of our daily routine. How many times have you thought that the one looking back at you is actually the solution to all your difficulties? Well, if you look at yourself with this attitude from now on, you will draw such tremendous strength from the promise within you, from this great divine potential, that you will realize you have nothing to fear. A divine being is not afraid. What is there to be afraid of? Fear is only a painful state of consciousness for being in ignorance, and you are becoming more conscious. Fearlessness is also a fascinating subject for the mother, but that will come later. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We come to the next sentence. There are things that help us to reach this real and true awareness, but there are also obstacles that block the way, pull us back, even fight against progress. With all this in mind, let us broaden our way of looking at things and say, This is divine, this helps me to reach God. And that which works against God, that is the enemy of God. Here, the Mother describes how we can make this divine being at the summit of our consciousness, whose initiative we see there in our reflection, manifest in us. This is the way. We consciously look for facilitating factors. This is what you are doing now, by the way, because you have now chosen to allow the divine consciousness into you. You have given here an open path. That is one part of it. The other part is to recognize and systematically eliminate the hindering factors from your life, or to change your attitude toward them if they cannot be completely eliminated. Before one can attain this state of consciousness, there must necessarily be struggle. And where there is struggle, there is choice. Because of choice, you need the ability to discern what things are. To acquire this ability, you have to surrender yourself with a conscious and strong will to the divine will and guidance. Be it the fullest possible surrender of self. Then you will surely make no mistakes, and you will not be led astray from the true path by deceptive and false lights. This beautifully concludes all that we have talked about today. I think this video is so important that I recommend reading this passage several times. If we read it carefully and allow ourselves to be influenced by these thoughts, we will have wonderful experiences. We will see the world from a whole new perspective every day, and of course in the mirror we will see ourselves. I would like to conclude today's video with the wise words of the Mother from the book Questions and Answers 1956. That's the English version, and I would like to show you the Hungarian version also. And there comes a time when all one can do is observe, but to judge is impossible. One can see things, see them as they are in their relations and in their place, with an awareness of the difference between the place they now are in and the one they ought to occupy. For this the great disorder in the world, but one does not judge. One simply observes. And there is a moment when one would be unable to say this is divine and that is not divine, for a time comes when one sees the whole universe in so total and comprehensive a way that, to tell the truth, it is impossible to take away anything from it without disturbing everything. Now, if one comes down again from the consciousness to a more external consciousness, naturally one begins to feel very precisely the things which help one to reach the true consciousness, and those which bar the way or pull one back or even struggle against the progress. And so the outlook changes, and one has to say, this is divine, or this helps me toward the divine, and that is against the divine. It is the enemy of the divine. But this is a pragmatic point of view for action, for the movement in material life, because one has not yet reached the consciousness which goes beyond all that, because one has not attained that inner perfection, having which one has no longer to struggle. For one has gone beyond the zone of struggle and the time of struggle of the utility of struggle. But before that, before attaining that state in one's consciousness and action, necessarily there is struggle. And if there is struggle, there is choice. And for the choice, discernment is necessary. And the surest means to discernment is a conscious and willing surrender, as complete as possible, to the divine will and guidance. Then there is no risk of making a mistake and of taking false lights for true ones. Let's briefly summarize the most important wise teachings from today's video. And the less one knows, the more one judges. The more one knows, the less can one pronounce judgments on things. It's in the little things and events that we are given great opportunities every day to grow with impunity. If you take something from the world, you disrupt the system. Everything always has a price, but we don't always know what it will cost. Look into the mirror. What you see is nothing but a wonderful opportunity. You can draw strength from this wonderful potential, which will inevitably blossom one day. But the bud is already there. It is you. It is within you. And it will grow out of you. Go your way and become who you are meant to be. So don't be impatient. Have a heart full of ambition. Do the thing. Never disturb the workings of the world. Fear is just a painful state of consciousness of beings in ignorance. But you're becoming more aware. Factors that help us versus factors that hinders us. Consciously looking for the factors that help us. Identify and systematically eliminate the factors that hinder us. Remember, the City of Dawn is you. You who are watching this video and who are thereby being brought into the consciousness of the Divine Mother. Live this in your daily life, and if you feel comfortable here, come back again and again. Be a regular guest here. Be a builder, be a resident of the City of Dawn. Discover the deeper truths of your life. Find your way to yourself and become who you really are. If you would like to join me, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and TikTok, and feel free to share this video with others. The Mother's books are available to read for free at the link provided in the description. And I welcome any questions you may have via email. You can purchase my book Wake Giant, The Dawn of the Soul on Amazon. You will find the link in the description. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your hearts and souls. May Mother bless you abundantly on your journey through life. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.